the slogans of the Tea Party and all the thinly veiled calls for anarchy in Washington, behind all that, there's a reality. The American people don't want the extremist Republicans' bizarre vision of a future without government. They don't support it. Why? Because the American people know that without government, we would no longer be a great nation with a bright future.
That's right. And of course, don't forget, you didn't build that, and corporations don't create jobs. Everything is the government. Joining us now is David Harsanyi. He's nationally syndicated columnist and senior editor at the Federalist. Hello, David.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. You wrote a great piece with a very provocative title and a very, probably a very revealing and telling title that was at thefederalist.com. Elizabeth Warren is the face of the modern Democrats, and Hillary is their Mitt Romney. Very interesting analogy there.
Well, I appreciate it. I mean, that's just how I see it. I think Elizabeth Warren, her views and the way, her sort of the populist way her rhetoric tends to veer is a far better reflection of what's going on among Democrats right now than Hillary, who I think sort of is, I hate to be too mean, and I don't want to call her soulless or anything, but is sort of a political entity that will say anything to be president.
Yeah, there is, for those who want to be objective, certainly, and maybe aren't Hillary fans, there is a huge degree of let's say, insincerity in whenever Hillary says something. You don't know if she means it or not. But to what extent and to what degree? I mean, is Elizabeth Warren, if she decides to run, in your view, is she going to win the nomination? I mean, does she have a real chance to overcome the Mitt Romney of her party, so to speak?
I actually do. I mean, I think that, listen, I think she's, I think what she believes is sort of nuts, but I also believe that, same thing with conservatives, you have far more energetic base that's more ideological, and I think that they would definitely come out for her. I think there are plenty of people with money who would come out for her, and I think people are not, as we saw in 2008, people were over Hillary, and I think they're just looking for the right person to replace her. I just don't see that sort of energy happening for Hillary now. I think Hillary's the favorite, obviously, and I'm not sure if Warren will run, but I think Hillary is beatable.
All right. Now, what about on the Republican side? You wrote a piece about Rand Paul versus the cowards, talking about Syria and various issues. But let's broaden it and expand it. Do you think that again, if all the suspects that we think will announce, do you think Rand Paul going into this, is up there among the favorites, if not the favorite?
Probably not. I'd say he's a few ticks too libertarian probably to be president and probably even to win the Republican nomination. I just think there are sort of idealistic views that he takes that people probably wouldn't completely understand in the context of politics and would make it very difficult for him to win, though I think he's the most interesting candidate out there in many ways. Also, his foreign policy, I think, probably would rub a lot of the people who, give you the money the wrong way.
Yeah, and plus, he said things like cut off all foreign aid, including to Israel, and then backtracked on that, which wouldn't go over too well in many circles, not only Jews, but evangelicals and others in this country as well. So who do you like in that, or in the early entry phase of, or the non-entry phase of the Republican field, which doesn't exist, by the way? But go ahead.
Right. Well, I want to make it clear, I like no one, really, but
I mean, not like, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is how I see it. I mean, I think obviously the Republican Party has always been split into the grassroots activist types and then the establishment type, and I think they're going to have to come to some sort of agreement. So I think that the best candidate for that, or the most likely candidate for that, is probably Marco Rubio. But it might be, I think, secondarily one of these governors, maybe Walker or someone like that. I just don't see Cruz doing it, and I don't see the Jeb Bush type doing it. So I think it'd probably be something in the middle, and to me it seems like Marco Rubio would probably be that sort of candidate.
Are you surprised at what Barack Obama did yesterday with regard to Cuba?
I'm surprised because I just didn't see it coming, but I'm not surprised that he did it. I'm not, I'm of two minds of that issue, simply because I'm not crazy about these sorts of long-term embargoes because I don't think they work very well, but also I don't like to telegraph to a regime that it's okay to kidnap Americans to get your way, so I think it's problematic, but nothing he does surprises me, really,
yeah,
as far as executive overreach goes.
And it'd be interesting to see if the Congress can thwart and has the guts to thwart, you know, what he's promised will happen with the opening of travel and everything else, because Congress has got to play a big role in that. Okay, I appreciate it once again, David. Thank you very much.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Take care. Have a great holiday. All right, folks, when we come back, we're going to concentrate on what we just finished off with here, and that is what Barack Obama did, his unilateral action on Cuba. How far can it go? And more importantly, again, anybody who's surprised, maybe you're surprised at the timing or the event, but you know, in the realm of what he's been doing, it's not surprising. Dinesh D'Souza will weigh in. Can't wait for that. Don't go away.